XboxEra podcast is powered by you. And if you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra. And as a thank you for your support, you get cool stuff and we get to keep doing what we do. Now let's get into it. Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 126 of the XboxEra podcast. I'm Sticker Mechanico, and I'm joined, as per usual, by Special Nick.
What's going on?
Go on, Nick. Go on, just enjoy your moment. We'll just get straight into it.
I don't need this anymore. Yeah, it's okay.
You feeling okay about it?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's great. I think with Jesse, I think there's still problems.
Yeah, it was perfectly fine until I tried to run that video.
Oh, right. Okay. So maybe
I have no idea why.
There's no videos. We're not going to do any extra videos for some reason. Something is a bit iffy with the YouTubes tonight.
There it goes.
So I think we'll be okay as long as we don't play anything fancy.
Okay.
There's encoding overload.
We've never had a problem. This is the first time we've ever had a technical problem.
This friggin' new version. I went to a new version of OBS.
Oh, dear.
Right.
Oh, dear.
All right. Should be back.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Things are smooth.
Are we back?
We're back. Okay. That's it. We're not going to touch anything else.
No idea why I did that.
We're just going to stay like this so that we can talk to you guys because we've missed you. And it's been a week.
We're still choppy. Are we still choppy?
No, it looks all right on my screen. It looks fine. We're okay. Deep breaths, calm, soothing breaths. Anyway, so yeah, we'll figure that out for next time.
So
but
we have no idea what everyone just saw and what they didn't see.
It just froze. I was looking at it.
Yeah, it was just a bit knackered. But go on, do you want to show your Goldeneye in perfect condition again?
So
we're gonna get straight into it this week. Let's talk about Goldeneye.
I was obviously going to show that, there's my Nintendo 64 copy of GoldenEye, which I will not need anymore. Which I'm very excited about, finally. But, man.
I'm a bit disappointed in the port, and I'm sure a number of people are. I mean, are you disappointed in what it isn't rather than what it is?
No, not really.
I was expecting the remastered, this 361 that's been out for a while, and it's not that.
I was expecting that one as well, and I've been asking questions, and I don't think I should say anything without clarifying if I can say anything first.
Okay.
But yes, I was asking questions about that version.
Can I make a supposition, sir, if I may?
Mm.
I wonder if, because obviously the Nintendo 64 version is what is being emulated on Nintendo Switch Online, and because it's being emulated directly, they have online, because it's emulating System Link, I guess, or split screen online somehow.
The actual app itself is emulating the multiplayer.
Whereas we don't have that emulator on the Xbox version, so we get stuck with split screen local play only. Now, the reason I feel like we're not getting the version that was remastered and fancied up and you could switch back and forth between the two different versions is because it's a dual release, which is clearly in partnership in some form or fashion with Nintendo.
Yeah.
I wonder if there was a conversation, you can't have the best version. Like, you've got to look and keep the parity with our version. If you know what I mean.
It's going to be way better, though.
I mean, it will be way better just because it's got more power behind it in terms of the system. But
it's an actual. So there were things announced for the Xbox version, which is it is internally like it's essentially remastered to be 16:9 in 4K with a more steady frame rate and with improved controls. So it is better in every other way.
It is still a better version, even the one we're getting.
But it feels like that compromise seems to have been a part of the negotiation of that port. Because if I were Microsoft, I'd be like, well, you guys release your emulated version, no worries, we're all friends, but we're going to release our really slick, Perfect Dark remastered 360 version we made with online multiplayer. And Nintendo were like, whoa, hey.
No, because I heard Nintendo was getting that version too.
Yeah,
That's the thing. I heard Nintendo was getting that version as well. So I was under the impression that what was happening was we were getting the fancy one, Nintendo was getting the fancy one, and Nintendo was getting the NSO 64 port. That's the impression I was under.
I don't know.
Now, again, there could have been a mix-up there because remember, the achievements that leaked, the screenshots were all the original Nintendo 64 screenshots. So maybe there was just some confusion there. Again, I've been asking questions, and I'm not going to talk about what I got in response without clarifying if I can even say anything yet. But yeah, it's fun, interesting timing.
Yeah, but it's here. You finally got your wish.
Yes, I got my wish. Very, very happy. And I'm spewing because I was watching that Nintendo Direct and I got a DM that morning. So the Direct started at midnight for me. And I got a DM so the morning of, because my time zone sucks. I got a DM 1:40 in the morning saying, hey, reckon there's a decent chance Goldeneye's at the Nintendo Direct. I'm like, oh, don't do this to me. Please don't do this to me. So then throughout the day, I started like putting out on Twitter, oh, come on, Nintendo, have Goldeneye there. Please have Goldeneye there. Goldeneye. And everyone's like, forget it. It's not going to happen. Even MVG was like, forget it. It's not going to happen. And then the Direct started at midnight. And I saw Goldeneye. I heard the I was like, oh, I was lying in bed. I couldn't jump and scream and get excited or anything. I was lying in bed. I'm like, oh, man. But then my phone, of course, I checked Twitter and it was just like ping, 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 Discord, ping, 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 ping. I was like, oh, my God. It was so good.
So basically, you're just a happy man. You're a very happy man.
I wasn't until yesterday.
Play this for all of 10 minutes and then...
No, I'm not playing it for 10 minutes. I'll be playing this. I will be playing this.
No online, though. No online to relive those glory days.
But the thing with GoldenEye for me was never the multiplayer. For me, GoldenEye was the campaign. I used to love just going through on all the difficulty levels. Each level, just going through at 4 frames per second on Nintendo 64. This is, by the way, I was already saying this. By the way, I was already saying this before we went live, but this is my original copy from 1996. Look at the condition that's in. From 1996.
You're a weird guy, Ace. You're a weird guy.
Nah, for me, it was about the campaign. Like, I loved going through on all the difficulty levels. Love it. The multiplayer, I was never massive on GoldenEye.
See, for me, what I was looking for. Oh, okay, we're back.
Are we back?
We're coming back. We're alive. We're alive.
What was our time limit? What was our time
random power surge, and I'm back on.
Oh, was it an actual power surge? So it wasn't.
The power turned off and on for a split second. There's not even a storm or anything going on right now. No clue why. Hello, gladly the YouTube didn't shut the freaking thing down. That was just
how long do we get? How long do we get with that? How long do we get before the show shuts down?
I don't know. It feels really random. So if you choose stop, it ends immediately. But if you get cut off, it seems like 5 to 10 minutes. So I was just waiting for my modem to reconnect. Sorry, everyone.
So does that mean that if we try and play video now, will it completely crap itself?
No, it was playing fine before. For some reason, when I tried to play that video you gave me, it started messing up as a scene. So I'll just play it as it's fine. I can play whatever I want.
Fine. You don't have to play it. It's okay.
No, I want to.
I bet that
video. The computers. I'm in control, not them.
Yeah, I bet that video is probably in a codec that OBS just doesn't like. So
yeah, there's something. I got to update. AMD's drivers completely break DaVinci right now, so I can't update, but I need to update because there's something weird going on with those codecs. So apologies.
Right, okay.
Yes.
Let's pretend
Good.
that the last 10, 15 minutes didn't happen. Hey, Nick, did you know Goldeneye released?
Yeah. What I was going to say when the show must have crapped itself was... The thing is, like, you know, I've seen some jokes and stuff about how the Nintendo version's got online and the Xbox version doesn't. But, like, would you really want to play the Nintendo version online like that? With the split screen intact, and it probably runs like absolute garbage. Like, do you really... Like, I would not be surprised, and I said this on Twitter, I would not be surprised if... Because the other thing I found odd is, why isn't it out yet? I thought it was going to get shadow dropped. And then there's other weird questions. So it got announced just, the other day?
Yeah.
Less than a month from the anniversary. Why didn't they just announce it at the anniversary?
It's probably... I feel like Nintendo are definitely holding all the cards on this one. I don't know why.
Oh, Nintendo's holding a lot of cards on this one. I just find it odd that even Nintendo wouldn't want to have it announced for the anniversary. Like, it just seems so weird that you'd announce it 3 weeks after the anniversary. That just seems odd to me. And why isn't it out yet? No date, no nothing. So I have a conspiracy theory, and it's probably wrong because Nintendo announced that their version has online. And my conspiracy theory is that they're waiting for Xbox to get a solution for the online.
Really?
It's just a conspiracy theory I've got.
Wow.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like, they're working on something like that. Like, somehow retrofitting online multiplayer into like old games and BC games and stuff.
Bring me Microsoft.
And maybe that's what the delay is about. Maybe that's what it's about. Because they're trying to retrofit that stuff. I
guess we'll find out.
Do you guys know exactly what the multiplayer is going to look like on Nintendo Switch? Because if you ever used it, horrible. It's going to be you get the full 4-player split screen.
That's what Nick was just
saying. That's right. That's what we were just saying.
Oh,
we were just saying.
And it feels terribly. I've used it before. Because you're essentially being hosted by the main... Yeah, it's not good.
Ugh. It would suck. It would absolutely suck. But I'm very, very excited. And now I can finally lay this to rest and sell. I'll probably just sell my Nintendo 64 now.
I'll
probably just sell it.
You can rest.
I was only keeping the Nintendo 64 for this. It was the only reason I was keeping it. Because all my other 64 games that I've got them on my Raspberry Pi. And the Raspberry Pi emulates them just fine. But this game, it just doesn't emulate properly.
Man.
And you can't do dual analog. And so I'm like, man, I don't want to get rid of my Nintendo 64 yet. But now, the hell, I'll make like $2.5 grand selling that Nintendo 64. I don't need to keep it anymore.
Yeah, why not? Do it.
And
especially if it's in that good a nick.
For those that have forgotten or don't know, it comes to Rare Replay, I think.
For free,
for
owners of Rare
for
Replay.
Free. Most of you should have Rare Replay from the Mixpot a few years back.
When Mixer was a thing?
Back when Mixer was a thing and they were doing the Mixpots, there was I can't remember which Xbox showcase it was, but there was some Xbox show where they gave us all Rare Replay for free.
Yeah.
So don't worry about Game Pass. You should be getting Goldeneye for free just from having Rare Replay.
Thank God for that.
Yes, which is
I
good.
miss Mixpots. But I miss them.
I just miss Mixer and 4K streams.
It was so good in co-op streams where you could stream together your separate viewpoints in one stream. They were ahead of the game. And what are Twitch doing? Just resting on their laurels.
YouTube can do 1440 and 4K streams. Just most people don't. You need a lot of upload bandwidth.
Yeah. I bet.
Yeah.
Well. But hey, it is a thing. So it's good to be back. I'm looking forward to dipping into the nostalgia, but it won't last for long. But Nintendo had a show. Lots of.
Wait, are we not doing what we've been playing?
Oh,
or have we not been playing anything?
I've been playing some things. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Let's talk about what we've been playing. I've been playing You Suck at Parking.
Any good?
I would recommend people watch the review. it was really funny. We ended up with a couple of codes, and Jesse was like, "Hey, you've got young kids. This looks like a fun cartoony game. Here you go, buddy." I was like, "Cool. This looks fun." Oh my god, it's throw your pad at the screen. Fuck you, bastard hard. It is
really
evil. It is. Do you remember in Geometry Wars where you'd be like, "Oh, didn't get it quite perfect," hit the restart and it would instant respawn and you'd be back in. Very much like Trials as well.
Trials
HD. If you missed a jump, and you hit the button and you restart. It's the one thing from a design point of view that I feel they've missed for people that want the perfect run. It hasn't got an instant restart, but you can get an instant restart by quickly pressing start and restart. 3 lines and A, and boom, you're straight back in.
Yeah.
But the whole premise of the game is you're a little car, you can't reverse, but you can brake, and you've got limited fuel, and you've got limited cars, and you get a set number of parking spaces in these cute little levels with all sorts of ridiculous things like police cars that chase you, or giant magnets that yank you out of position, or mines, or missiles that follow you, or ice, or all sorts of stuff like that. And it's all about just parking perfectly in the spot. And a perfect run is you get into the spot for each of the 3-4 parking spaces, however many there are per level, without crashing, dying, getting knocked out of the parking spot. But you can get an unperfect run where you have a few goes and you crash a few times. But it is ridiculously addictive and evil, but very brilliantly designed. It's a great little game. And it's got a party mode.
That's on Game Pass. That's on Game Pass, isn't it?
It's on Game Pass. It's got a party mode. It's got an online competitive mode for griefing your friends. And it's very, very well done. And it's a game that they're planning on evolving. So it's got, unusually, a parking pass, which is their version of a battle pass for cosmetics to attach to your car and a Rocket League. But it controls, like, this is a game where you can tell the developers have been like, this needs to play perfectly. Like, we need to absolutely nail how this controls. Otherwise, you're just going to frustrate the player. And they've honed that to a mirror shine, and everything else is just icing and cherries on top. It's a really, really well-made game. Brilliant.
Interesting.
Thoroughly recommend. Evil.
Okay. Yeah.
You might throw your pad at your screen, but really good. Yeah, so enjoying it. Enjoying it a lot.
Very interesting.
You've not been playing anything, though? Rocket League and the usual suspects?
For me, it's the usuals. For me, there was a new season of Rocket League just started. Season 8 of Rocket League just started. And the Battle Pass has a Honda Civic as the first car that you get. It's like I think it's the 90s or the early 2000s Honda Civic. So there's just Civics everywhere driving around in Rocket League, which is hilarious. Yeah, but I haven't been playing a lot. I've been so involved with the footy, which is now over.
Did they win? Did they win the final?
No, we lost last night by 1 point. We lost by a point. So if you understand the scoring system in football, 1 goal is 6 points, and then there's a behind, which is a point. So we were getting done. And Collingwood's season this year has been one of comebacks. Like, we've won. So it's been a historical season for Collingwood because they've won a record number of matches by less than 2 goals. Most ever in AFL, VFL history, 130 years of history. No team has won as many close games as us. So it was fitting that our season ended losing by 1 point. Like, at one point, we were 6 goals down. We were 6 goals. Like, once you start entering 6 goals plus, when you're down by, you start to enter pumping territory. Once you're 6 goals down or more. And we came back, and with like a minute left, we were a point down. And it's like, we lost.
Mate, my commiserations. But hey, they've given you a hell of a ride for this season, right? So you can't be too mad.
It's been full on. Like, because we were getting ready for the 21st we had to go to. So at halftime, I'm having a shower, I'm getting ready, I'm getting dressed. And then the third quarter starts, and I'm sitting there all dressed up on the couch, screaming at so I thought my voice was going to be screwed today. I was lucky because between screaming at the footy and then going to a 21st till like 1 a.m, I thought my voice was going to be gone. But I'm actually in not too bad.
You're doing okay, bro. You're doing okay. I have to mention, and Jesse, I don't know what you can talk about. I know you've been a big fan of the movie Groundhog Day, but is there anything else you can talk about?
I can talk about everything because, goddammit, when it's a port and it's a port I played on PC before an Xbox version was announced this week. I can say what I think about the game of Deathloop. I simply cannot say anything about how the Xbox version plays. Deathloop is a very good game. I'm enjoyed quite a bit on PC. I hope that the Xbox version lives up to being a good port. This is a great game. Look forward to it on Tuesday. It's not nice. It's difficult to exactly say what it is. There's a focus on stealth, but you can go loud. You can pretty much at any time. It can get a lot harder if you do at certain times. There are roguelike elements to it, but it is not a roguelike. The levels are not procedural. They are very set. In learning how they are set and how you go through them is the entire game. Because your goal is to kill this group of people to break the loop. And there's like a specific set way to do that. So while the gear and some other things are randomized, the actual layout and the way things work is not. So it's not a roguelike. It just uses roguelike elements. Also, just know the AI is very dumb on purpose. They are there for you to fuck with. They are there for you to murder in fun ways and to work around them and stuff. Like they're meant to be pretty stupid. And overall, it's really good. Yeah. There was that one, and that game releases on Tuesday, so you can look for a review closer to Tuesday. Lovely. There is also a game called Solstice, and this one has a demo, so I'm going to talk about the demo. The demo for Solstice is great. If you really like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta types that are this weird, really pretty, almost cel-shaded look made by a bunch of Italians, because that's a big genre, then this is the game for you. It's two sisters. You're essentially controlling them both, though one of them attacks on her own. You're mainly the human one, not the ghost. Story in the demo is good. Graphics in the demo are good. Gameplay in the demo is good. And we'll have a review for that one this week as well. And the
I like
third
this subtle way of getting around.
It's great. The third thing is also a port, and I'm going to play my review of the PC version. It's called Hard Space Shipbreaker, and it's also coming to Game Pass.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so I'll have an impressions video for how the console version of this one plays, and how it runs, and what the options are. So you can look forward to me taking up all 3 of our notification slots this Tuesday.
On Tuesday. Wow, boom. Okay. That's a lot of content. Game Pass is getting a lot of content. Game Pass is awesome. Yeah. Really, really love it.
We have a super chat.
We do have a super chat, and you kind of talked a little bit about it already.
Yeah, I know. Super Monte Carlo. Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Just curious to hear Nick's opinion on yesterday's game. Well, yeah, you heard my opinion on yesterday's game.
They had a good run.
I would have rather just got pumped, like Brisbane did. I would have rather just got absolutely belted, because then it's easy to accept it. You're just like, yeah, okay, whatever. We were never in the game. We got pumped. But 1 point, it's like, you start analysing everything.
Yeah,
like, what if this had happened? What if that had happened? And now it's going to sit in my craw for 6 months till the next season starts. It's just...
Never mind. Wow, there's 186 people watching right now. We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. It's nice to have the fantastic
That's not bad given the show completely shit itself earlier.
It's not bad that the show completely crapped its pants, and it's also not bad. I think there's other podcasts going on right now, but it's nice for people to come out and hang with Sick and Nick. So we'll take it. But don't forget to smash that like button, because I like seeing 190 thumbs up on our podcasts. If they're watching 190 people live right now. But yes. Goldeneye was shown, but Nintendo had a show. Now, I didn't watch it, but I did see the very, very brief 12 seconds of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom.
That's a great subtitle. That's such a Zelda
That's exactly
subtitle.
what I said. That is the greatest Zelda subtitle ever. That is like amazing. Tears of the Kingdom. And hello, so I don't know if this is like an American thing. Did you see that as anything other than Tears of the Kingdom?
No. I can read.
So I discovered on Twitter that some people saw it as Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like, what's wrong with you? That's clearly Tears of the Kingdom, and there's no universe in which it's Tears.
That's crazy.
What the hell is a Tear of the Kingdom?
The same, but yeah, that makes no sense.
What's a Tear of the Kingdom? What is a Tear of the Kingdom? It's clearly Tears of the Kingdom. Like,
it's when the king bends over and then his pants split open. That's the Tear of the Kingdom.
That was just... When I saw that on Twitter, I'm like, what's wrong with you people? It's Tears of the Kingdom, and it's the most amazing Zelda name I've ever heard. Like, A Link to the Past is a good one. That's clearly a great name as well, because the character's name is Link and blah, blah, blah. But Tears of the Kingdom is amazing, because it says so much, but also so little. Oh. And when you look at the desktop, so I showed on Twitter that my desktop wallpaper, if you could see my 3 screens right now, they're all the Tears of the Kingdom wallpaper. It looks like it's going to be Skyward Sword meets Breath of the Wild. And as someone that loved Skyward Sword, again, I'm just basing that purely on what I think, on what I'm seeing in the wallpaper. It looks like Skyward Sword meets Breath of the Wild, which would be amazing, because I loved Skyward Sword.
I'm still, I'll hold out on Tears of the Kingdom. I know there's a lot of Breath of the Wild fans out there, and I know that for most people it's an absolutely fantastic game, but I will not get over the annoyance of breaking
the
weapons.
Weapon breaking.
It just got in the way, and I don't understand any game designer that puts things that get in the way. Like,
yep,
I could wax lyrical about it. There's no point. Like, Ocarina of Time is still to this day my absolute favorite Zelda, and always will be. But it's got a special place in my heart, for some of the challenge and the dungeons. It's just what it is. But hey, it's good. Anything else that caught your eye at the Nintendo show that you liked?
1080 snowboarding is coming to Nintendo Switch Online. Oh, another game that I have. And then it was just a bunch of farming simulators.
The Germans.
Although, I will say Kirby's Dream Land Deluxe looks great. And my kids saw the trailer for that and they were like, oh, new Kirby game. So we'll probably end up getting Kirby's Dream Land Deluxe February 24th. I'm like,
oof.
What else? They were the 3 main things for me. All those farming simulators I wasn't really interested in. The JRPGs aren't my thing. I did see after the show they announced that a new limited edition Switch OLED, that Pokemon one.
No more.
Don't think it's not as nice as my Splatoon one. It's not as nice as my Splatoon one. I don't regret getting the Splatoon one. The Splatoon one's much, much prettier.
Have you been playing Splatoon 3?
Nah. It doesn't come with a console. Nintendo doesn't give the games with their limited edition consoles. They don't give the game.
What?
Sony and Microsoft do, but Nintendo does not give the game with their limited. So when I bought the God of War PlayStation 4 Pro, got a copy of God of War. I bought the Halo Series X, got a digital copy of Halo. You always get Nintendo, Microsoft and Sony always give you a copy of the game that the LE console is themed after. Nintendo do not. They used to. In fairness, they used to. Like, when I got the Super Mario Odyssey Switch, it came with a copy of Super Mario Odyssey, but that was like the last one. All the others don't come with the game, which is a
madness. Madness. Nintendo fans, you need to demand better. Just like all the Sony fans are doing.
But I've told you before, they're begrudgingly loyal.
They just accept it. Yeah,
they just accept it. It's like, man, like they acknowledge. They're like, man, this is a shit thing Nintendo does. And then they're just like, well, anyway, please hand it over. And they just buy it. But at least they acknowledge, which a certain Platform X does not.
No, indeed. And speaking of Platform X, and it's not the Xbox, they had a show. They had a show too. And everyone has been gushing and waxing lyrical about the God of War Ragnarok trailer. I watched it. It looks like some more God of War. Looks really cool. Very well edited trailer.
Yep.
So,
it does. You know what I have noticed, which it disappoints me, but not for the reason people think. I've noticed now, since the God of War Ragnarok showing, all of a sudden I'm seeing a lot more slander of God of War 2018. And I'm like, nah, man, don't do this. Don't sit there and talk about how it was the most amazing, perfect game in the history of video games, when more reasonable people were like, yes, it's a fantastic game with some very real flaws.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden people are like, oh man, God of War doesn't even look that good. Oh man, God of War, it's got this problem with the menu, and oh man, it's so long. And I've gone back to God of War and God, it's really long and padded. I'm like, this is stuff like reasonable people were saying back in 2018 that no one wanted to hear, because all they wanted to hear was how it's a 10 out of 10, don't start shitting on God of War now. Like, it's still a fantastic game, just with flaws that weren't really being acknowledged back in 2018, because no one wanted to hear. And now the same thing will happen with Ragnarok. Ragnarok, we're going to hear how it's 10 out of 10, it's the greatest game ever. And then when the next God of War comes, but yeah, Ragnarok was a bit this and a bit that. There's that retroactive...
Yeah,
it's the reverse. It's the reverse Halo effect. It's the reverse Halo effect. So Halo, when a Halo comes out, everyone knows, oh my God, this is the worst Halo's ever been. Look at everything that's wrong. Halo 4 was awesome. Halo 5 is garbage. Each Halo gets better.
Every game.
Where with the PlayStation games, it's the reverse. Like the previous game, suddenly all the flaws that were there at the start get acknowledged when the sequel comes out.
Yeah. I've just in the chat, never stops being funny when people try to pronounce Ragnarok. Like, I've always heard it as Ragnarok.
Ragnarok. What am I supposed? What's it supposed to be?
I need to know how it's meant to. Is it Ragnarok? Ragnarok? I don't know. Like, is there another way to?
Isn't it Ragnarok? What's it supposed to be?
Yeah.
It's one of those. You know how Scandinavian words are. It probably doesn't look. It's nothing like.
Yes, I was about to say. Yeah, we're just probably saying it how we read it. I'm sure there's a proper pronounce. It's sort of like how people say gyro.
Yeah.
And it's, if you're a Greek person, you hear that and it like scratches your brain, and you like, it breaks your brain when you hear people say gyro, and when it's not gyro. I'm sure it's the same thing with Ragnarok, but
yeah,
I've never heard Ragnarok pronounced the proper way.
No, neither have I. Educate me more.
What else was at Sony's show? Oh yeah, that's right. Project Eve ended up
fully exclusive,
published
by Sony.
Yes. So at first I was like, oh, okay, so Sony's money had at another game, and then it was pointed out to me quite quickly on Twitter that Sony's publishing it, because apparently, allegedly, this is more of a Titanfall situation and less of a Final Fantasy situation.
It out of you. Yeah.
But then when I said that, like, I deleted my tweet and said that, then people were like, man, they're not struggling to fund this game. They're a gacha dev. I'm like, oh, are they? I'm like, I didn't know that. So I don't know. I don't know if this is just the money hat being disguised. I don't know if it's genuinely they needed the financial support. I'm not sure. But Project Eve, which is now called what? Stellar something?
Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade. That is now PlayStation exclusive. Yeah, it looks like a Bayonetta clone. It's kind of like a Bayonetta clone, but with the main character, I would argue, possibly even more sexualized than Bayonetta. What else was there? Sony's show
I was just sorry to interrupt, but I was just on the subject of pronouncing Ragnarok. I've just been seeing in the chat the correct way, and I've just done a little Google, and it's Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
That
sounds weird.
Weird. Yeah.
That sounds weird.
Like it would be rag, R-A-G, N-U-H, rook, R-U-H-K. Ragnarok. So yeah, it's not an O. Ragnarok. So there you go. We learn something every day. This podcast is not only entertaining, but educational. Thank you, Smartane, for that.
The big one for you, Nick, must have been Tekken at the showcase.
Tekken.
Yeah, Tekken 8
for me.
Tekken 8.
I don't know. You were all about buying Tekken 7. So I figured
yes, I wanted Tekken 7, and then I bought it on Xbox because it was like $10 for the like full-on edition, and then I find out that Tekken 7 is still 720p even on Series X, and I'm like, nope, I don't want that. So I got a refund and bought it on PlayStation 4. I'm not a Tekken guy. I bought Tekken 7 because of Tekken Bowling. That was the only reason I bought Tekken 7. Not because I hate Tekken. Tekken is Wish.com Virtua Fighter. That is what Tekken is. And that's going to incense a lot of people except Gus in the Discord. Tekken is Wish.com Virtua Fighter to me. Always has been. I was a Sega fanboy. Virtua Fighter was the first 3D fighter. Like, Virtua Fighter to me was the closest thing to a sim as a fighter could be. Where Tekken was slow and clunky, and it's not as slow and clunky anymore as technology is advanced, but yeah, it's just...
It's not your jam. It's not your jam.
Visually looked great.
It does look very pretty, I have to say.
Yes, looked real nice. There was that new Yakuza game as well. What else was there? There was the new game from Team Ninja, another exclusive that apparently PlayStation have been secretly helping them with development for, like, not secretly, but like...
Rise of Ronin?
Yes, that looked okay. Again, not my kind of thing, but looked okay. Yeah, it was an okay show. They put Ragnarok at the... They put that at the end for a reason, so that people would have that lasting memory to call it the greatest state of play ever.
Yeah. And they announced a controller as well, right?
Oh, yes, the controller. I actually don't mind it, aside from the gross logo on the touchpad.
Yeah.
I will most likely buy that controller, but
I get
the logo on the touchpad ruins it a little bit.
I think that happens a lot with lots of merchandise. Like, when there's key art for games and some of it can be exemplary, it really bugs me when game companies put the name of the game like in the t-shirt, like, because some of it you could get away with and not advertise the fact that you're an absolute video game nerd. Like Sea of Thieves, the key art of the skull with all the ship and people peering in.
It's cool.
But then you emblazon at the top of the t-shirt, Sea of Thieves. Like, no, I just want the skull, and that's all I want. And I find a lot of brands do this, and it really, really, really bugs me.
I actually wish video games would do it with their box art. Just get rid of the title and just have your really nice art. You've got your title on the side.
I've definitely seen some really, really nice, like, people that love to collect physical, and they
looks great.
Photoshop people do some really, really slick designs, and then they make all their uniform designs all
looks
really,
great.
really cool.
Looks so good.
I might have seen something like that with regards to Pre-Drag doing some very, very cool stuff, funnily enough, related to day one. So maybe that will make an appearance at some point in the future. We'll see.
But I will probably get that controller, I'm assuming. I'm getting a lot of controllers. I'm getting, like, I just realized that over the next 6 months, I'm getting the Splatoon 3 Switch Pro. I'm getting an Elite Core on Wednesday.
Oh shit, yeah, that's coming out. I have to admit, I'm a bit annoyed. Can I go on a bit of a rant?
Yeah.
I submitted a ticket and paid £24 to fast track the repair of my Halo Elite Series 2. And obviously I have to wait for them to ship me a thing so I can ship it to them. So they ship me a thing and I ship it back to them with all of my bits off. It has been over a week and I have still not had the package through. And I'm like, where is this express shipping, guys? Like, I can't send it to you.
Yeah, I hate that. Like, because you pay extra. You pay extra for that.
Where's the pace? Like, I wanted it back and I haven't got it. So I've also been a complete sucker and ordered the core. But I swear on my children's lives that if this pad breaks, it's the last time I'll do this, Microsoft. Like, I've listened to you, refined internals. I think it is a con that you have not, that there hasn't been a mass recall or an admission of sub-quality innards in these. I genuinely do. And it irks me. It annoys me. The frustrating part is that when it is all working, it is the best pad I've ever used. And that's the only reason
Streets ahead.
that I'm a sucker enough to go and blow more dough on one of these. So,
it's literally because I can't play without paddles anymore.
I am exactly the same.
I can't. I physically can't play without paddles anymore.
I cannot play Halo Infinite without paddles, and I play Halo.
I can't play Rocket League without them. I have my Rocket League layout beautiful now. So I've got turbo here, I've got handbrake here, and away I go. And then I tried playing Rocket League on other consoles that have regular controllers, and I'm like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. It's impossible. So I'm stuck. I have to get this thing.
On the controller front, we've got a little super chat.
Yes, Toadpack Shakur. PlayStation makes a controller with 2 wolves on it and blows everyone's mind. I wear a t-shirt with 3 wolves on it howling at the moon and suddenly my dates get cancelled.
Oh, man. That's the best super chat I've seen in weeks.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one.
Mad props. That's great. That's actually properly made me smile. Thank you for that.
That's a good one.
That was awesome.
But yeah, what other controllers are there? There's the Elite. There's the DualSense Edge, Splatoon 3 Pro controller, Microsoft's Core Elite, the PlayStation Ragnarok controller, the Elite Design Labs, because I want the purple one. I have to get a purple. If I could,
I'd get a really nice, like, luminous lime green Elite.
They're not
having more of my money until I can prove that pad's going to last.
I've got the Halo one here. I could use that, but I don't trust that it won't fall apart.
You've got the Elite Series 2 Halo one?
Yeah, it's here.
It's a really nice
Still in the plastic.
Yeah. Well, mate, I went to go and have a look how much they are online on Amazon.
Yeah.
650 quid.
That's why
go make yourself some money, bro.
That's why I bought it. I made the mistake. When that Gears of War Elite controller came out with the scratches on it and everything, I was like, do I buy it? Nah, I've got an Elite controller. I don't need this thing. And now, if you try and buy one of those on eBay, they're like 1,000 Australian dollars.
Mental.
And I'm just like, why didn't I buy it and just keep it?
Never mind, mate.
So when that Halo one came, I wasn't making that mistake again.
Nah, fair play. Hey, we'll get into the third show of the week in a moment, but that wasn't the only piece of PlayStation news, the state of play. We saw a lot more details on PlayStation VR 2. And I recall a long time ago, and I can't remember which episode it was.
Ago. Over a year.
I remember you saying to me, you expecting backwards compatibility? And I was like,
nope.
Well, you'd assume so, because...
No.
And no.
Nope.
So I presume there was a reason you asked.
Yes, so when I got the DM telling me that PlayStation 2 VR is not backwards compatible, I put out a poll on Twitter. This is like back in like March or April last year.
Yeah.
I put out a poll on Twitter just saying, just curious. Is everyone out there expecting PSVR 2 to be backwards compatible with PSVR 1? The results were overwhelmingly yes.
Oh, interesting.
So I just sat back and I was like, wow, so there is going to be some disappointed people.
And there has been, hasn't there? There's been quite an interesting reaction online.
Yeah.
Well, at least
I get it. I assume it was a technological... I don't know enough about VR.
The ones from Move were kind of bastardized into the VR solution anyway.
Yeah.
Well, the issue is that Sony didn't have any type of abstraction layer so that it just tracked that data and you could have it work with multiple things because they're Sony. They just wanted to work with their one thing. So there is no way for those games to give information to anything except for the Move controller and camera setup.
Yeah. I assumed it was some kind of technical limitation. All I got in my DM, and I showed in the interest of transparency, I showed the DM publicly when someone asked me about it, which I feel like I need to stop doing. Even though it's weird, I'm this weird person where I'm an arrogant prick, but I'm also too nice for my own good. So people tag me on Twitter, they DM me, and I feel bad not replying to people. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about me. I feel bad not replying to people.
I think you should change your Twitter tagline to arrogant prick, though. That would make me laugh.
So someone tagged me, and I literally, I messaged my guy. I'm like, can I just show the DM? And they're like, yep. So I showed the DM, and they said, hearing PSVR 2 is not backwards compatible. Their plan at the moment is to just resell you a bunch of games. Like Astrobot and Moss and blah 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 blah, and I'm like, God, they're just gonna eat this up. They're just gonna take it with a smile and say more, please, because this is the same crew that's like defending $70 games and defending no free upgrades, and they're just gonna defend it and be like, cool, whatever.
It's not good enough.
We'll just rebuy it all. And the thing is Beat Saber gonna be on it?
That's going to be an interesting one because that's no longer an independent studio. It's owned by Oculus or
owned by Meta.
Meta. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry,
I sold my Meta Quest.
I've still
Did
got
you see the leaks of the new Meta Quest?
I saw. Yeah, look like a pair of glasses.
It looks like glasses. I'm like, that's got
very cool. I presumed fake when I saw it. I was like, that can't be real. But
how can they go from this? How can they go from this full-on headset to glasses? I'm like, no way.
I would love it if it's real, though. That would be very, very cool.
Man, I'd almost jump back in again. If it was glasses, I'd almost jump back in again.
Well, tech improves every year. Things get smaller, faster, everything. So, but
that's a big leap.
It is a big leap. But Google 8 years ago they did Google Glass, and that was a pair of glasses you could just walk around, and it was a VR AR solution. So it might not be outside the realms of possibility. But my question to you is: did they announce the price for PSVR 2?
No.
Any guesses? Any guesses, folks? I'm guessing
same as the console.
$399.
More. I'm thinking the disc console.
Sorry, no.
That's just a guess. I don't have any information.
It has really good tech in it, so I would not be surprised by 600.
I've seen all the previews, but
it sounds legit. From a hardware perspective, it sounds like it's legit. Like really
the main
nice
issue
headset.
is it requires a wire, and VR with a wire.
But at least it's one wire this time.
Yeah, it's going to be a wire you replace a lot. You are going to break that wire a ton.
Yes, I know. I know it's still annoying, but remember, PSVR 1 had like 73 wires and a box and this, and like you look like you were plugged into the Matrix and had like all these things on you. At least this one's just the one. Apparently, it's just the one USB-C.
Yeah, one high-speed USB-C directly to the console's front.
Yes, that means it's going to come under you and go to the console, depending on how you'll. Yeah, I don't know.
Since having the Quest, I just can't. Like, I don't mind plugging it in for sit-down games like Elite Dangerous with a full stick setup. Like, it's fine because you're a cockpit, you're not going to be moving around. But if anything else, the wire is irritating. And I've seen some people come up with some really ingenious setups with a gimbal up above them, so the wire goes straight up, so they can just spin and it follows them around. Not everyone has room for that. But I am. Like, don't get me wrong. I love that Sony, in this particular space, VR, I don't care what VR enthusiasts say. I love VR. I think it's incredibly wonderful. But it's niche. And going into this economy with a fancy bit of kit like that and trying to sell it
that doesn't let you play your previous games as well, so you're going to ask everyone to rebuy those games that they love on the first one.
I just saw the chat was saying that it doesn't even come with the controllers, so you have to add those to the price.
No, that can't be real.
Can't be true.
No way.
No way.
They're
not that dumb. Like, here's a PSVR 2. Enjoy watching 360 YouTube videos.
No way.
Like, it's going to be one of those things. I don't know.
That can't be real, can it?
I have no idea. Maybe
Sony
if you bundle
could
the
not
cost,
be that stupid.
They might have different versions. Stuff. Like, they might have different SKUs, but they haven't given a price on anything, so there's no way to know.
Yeah.
But you can't sell a VR headset without the controllers needed. Well,
it's like Quest. When they did Quest Link, they made an official Quest cable, and the Quest cable you could use. I mean, I get it. There were high-speed USB-C, but you could buy one non-branded for like 15 quid. That was 10 meters. But the branded Oculus or the Meta Quest cable was something like 50, 60 quid. And it's like, what?
Yeah, but that's every company does that. Apple does
bullshit.
That. You can get an official Apple USB-C to USB-C cable, or you can just buy an aftermarket one. Or what are those other brands? Belkin or whatever the case may be. But I refuse to believe that they wouldn't sell the controllers with it. Surely not.
Yeah, it would be very, very silly.
Again, I like. So Brit's saying that the wands weren't included with PSVR 1. So maybe they would do it again.
Well, that was because a lot of people already had Move controllers, so they gave you the option. You could either have the big bundle that had Move controllers, the camera, and a game, or you could just get the headset if you already had the other stuff.
Right. Okay. I have Move controllers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I admire Sony for going all out in this space, but I think it doesn't look good for it from a money making point of view.
It just looks like another
wrong
greedy
time.
move. It just looks like another greedy move, doesn't it? Like amongst the sea of them.
Yeah,
like it's just. Man.
I can imagine they're not particularly happy with the state of the economy and inflation and everything else. Like, I have not got, and I don't know how many people do. Like, it's going to getting into the niche of the niche. If it's like a $500 add-on,
I personally think it'll cost the same price as the console minimum.
They need to get it to the $199 sweet spot territory to really move units, I think, and I don't see that happening.
We're in a time where cost of living is skyrocketing everywhere.
It's awful.
And not only do they want to sell this niche piece of tech for a very expensive price, now we're hearing possibly without the controllers. They must do a bundle with them without.
Let's not let that rumor land. Like, maybe that's people theorizing about pricing. We don't know, so there's no point saying.
That's what I said. I said we're hearing that, mate. Like that can't. That's what we said. We can't be real. But the no backwards compatibility, like they should have got that out earlier. I feel like the timing of that is bad. They should have just said from the start that it's going to be an all new experience and, blah, 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 blah. The timing of that sucks. Like, man.
Boo. Anyway, but yeah, and hey, kudos to them for making more VR. I don't think until we can see a VR box that takes advantage of a console and transmits everything wirelessly with zero lag or minimal, that's the point where I would want to see console.
Like the Wii U tech.
Yeah, something like that.
Like that Wii U wireless technology, which I feel
the
was
PlayStation actually has a good enough Wi-Fi card in it. The Wi-Fi 6 is essentially what you need.
Wi-Fi 6.
Really good wireless, because that's what I have, and I do my PC to my Quest for Steam VR, and it's perfect. I've never had one issue with it.
So that makes the wire even more weird to me.
It's another cost. It's more parts inside. If you want to go wireless on the headset, you need another chip in there, and you add that up over the.
You
cost
need a battery
of the build.
too.
Yeah, it's one of those.
You
things,
need a battery too.
Maybe
and
next
then it would
gen.
cost even more.
Maybe next gen. 250 people watching right now. You're all wonderful. Only 97 likes. That's a ratio that I am not comfortable with, and I'm sure you aren't either. So don't forget to hit that like button because it really helps us.
Did you see this in the chat? We were tagged in the chat.
Were we?
Hey, Sakabakata and Special Nick. Now, this is from the Truth Teller. Ooh. Spoke with Tom Burdak at the Initiative. He's a VR specialist, and it looks like Perfect Dark. It looks like Perfect Dark will be on VR somehow. Just FYI.
What?
They have VR games in the on the Microsoft Store. Like, you can play No Man's Sky and a few others in VR through Game Pass.
Yeah, but then what is that suggesting? Is that suggesting that Perfect Dark, like, is the idea behind that to suggest that Xbox will be getting VR support, or is the idea to say that Perfect Dark may also release on one of the VR platforms?
Well, they have
it's releasing exclusively on PlayStation VR 2 to take care of PlayStation gamers. Love Jim Ryan.
They have a VR-capable platform with the Microsoft Store.
Yeah.
Interesting. Imagine that.
Hey,
imagine if it had a mode that works with, like, Oculus or one of them. I don't know.
The headsets... So the thing with VR on PC is you can use pretty much any headset with any VR game. So I've got an Oculus, and I used it on the Microsoft Store. I've used it on the Oculus Store. I've used it on the Steam Store. I've used it on GOG. Like anything, PC VR is wide open. The only one that's got it closed is Sony. Their headset only works on their platform. Everyone else,
Flight Sim,
wide open.
Flight Sim, I think, has VR capabilities.
Yep, and you can play that on PC through the Windows version or the Steam version.
Yeah.
So what VR headset are you using?
Whatever
you can use any on PC.
Yep,
so you can use your Quest and you can link it using a USB-C cable, and your PC will be like, okay, it's a headset. It's got
and wireless too.
Yeah, it's really good.
So they could do the same thing with Perfect Dark. That could be interesting.
I think there are already mods out there. Like I saw a mod of VR Blood Gulch with Halo, and people crouching in the rocks in old school Halo CE Blood Gulch, like over the top. They look really cool, but. There's a limit to where my nostalgia wants to go. Mods for VR.
How about this, Sick?
Cool.
I just downloaded and installed a Half-Life 2 mod, and you can play the entire game in VR, and it works perfectly.
You can be bored in VR.
Bored? Eat my ass.
Half-Life 2 had some massively bad moments.
Yeah, you skip the bad ones and you go to the good ones.
I found
Water canals,
quite a boring game.
Physics puzzles, because we have a physics engine. Look at us. I mean, at the time, it was revolutionary, but yeah. Anyway,
I played it on OG Xbox.
Orange box, great package.
No, OG Xbox.
Oh wow, okay.
OG. I've still got it. Yeah, I've still got it. Half-Life 2.
But speaking of Xbox, they also had a show at Tokyo Game Show. In Nintendo and Sony's turf. I think Xbox showed up
7 p.m. Australian time. And nice. The irony is that I sat down, I started the stream, and my wife walks in and she's like, "Don't we have to go get your parents' car because they're about to land?" I'm like,
damn it.
Oh, yeah. So I missed the whole show because it takes an hour just to drive out to my parents' place. So I missed the entire show. Did a bit of a quick catch-up. It seemed okay.
Yeah. They announced, obviously, Deathloop.
Announced a bunch of stuff I got DMs about a long time ago, like Nino Kuni, the White Witch, and...
Yeah, loads of Game Pass announcements as well. Lots of JRPGs and other such things.
But Deathloop, isn't that funny, eh? So, I mean, Rand and Jez were like guessing and, predicting that Deathloop would come around the 20th. But isn't it funny that we said, I wonder if Deathloop is like a Diablo 3? Where as soon as that contract's up,
it's out.
Well, we can mention it now. We can mention it, and now it's out. And that's kind of what it was.
Yeah.
Like and the second the 15th came, they were like, hey,
you can pre-order it now. Yeah.
Deathloop.
It's good. I'm looking forward to playing it myself, and Jess is playing it at the moment, so
I'll give it a go.
I'm definitely going to give it a shot. I did
all those
see
Japanese RPGs though. No interest whatsoever.
I don't care about them. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a couple of fighting games that got announced though that were very surprising to see. With BlazBlue and Guilty Gear Strive.
Oh, Guilty Gear Strive. Yeah. That was interesting.
Finally.
That was
and Game Pass. And crossplay, which is huge.
Yeah. It's good that Microsoft had to bribe them to put their games on Xbox.
I think either way, it shows that Xbox are still determined. We've seen a lot of recent job hires. Pushing. They've seen a lot of recent local job hires to really build up their relationships in Japan. I still do not understand Square Enix as a business. I just don't.
So Octopath 1 is on Xbox and Switch. Wait. So Octopath 1 is on Xbox and Switch, but not PlayStation. Octopath 2 is on Switch and PlayStation, but not Xbox.
It's bizarre. It is just weird.
What is just... You know what, Square? Just take your NFTs and just leave. Just leave. Give your IPs to someone else. Let your studios be independent and just leave. Seriously, what really is that? Weird. So PlayStation owners can't play the first game and then Xbox owners can't play the second game.
That's just so weird.
Like, what's that? Like, that's even worse. I would argue that it's actually worse than just full exclusivity one way or the other. At least if it was 1 and 2 on Xbox and not on PlayStation people are like, oh, well, got to get a Switch or an Xbox. If 1 and 2 were on PlayStation and on Xbox, which is the norm with Square, then an Xbox owner could be like, okay, well, I've just got to buy a Switch or a PlayStation. What happens here?
Have all three. Live the console dream.
It's just, oh my God, who does that? What kind of company does that?
It's a weird business strategy. But there's, Xbox, there's actually quite a lot of updates, outside of the show itself, which was pretty good, and it means that Xbox do finally have a AAA game releasing into Game Pass for this quarter.
A first-party one.
First-party one, finally.
A first-party one.
But we saw a bunch of other stuff. Like they've recently announced a new update on the Xbox app, hilariously adding How Long to Beat integration. I wonder where they got that idea from.
Don't know. Who did that?
Visit day1.xboxera.com and you can play with How Long to Beat and Metacritic integration. But go figure.
The Discord app chat thing got updated?
Yep. We can do Discord voice on Xbox now, out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, all of a sudden I'm on Discord on my phone, and then this big thing just comes up, and it's like, hey, why don't you continue this conversation on your Xbox? And I'm like, oh, that came out.
Yeah. So, and I can see Jesse showing off day one on the screen. You know, if you're just watching this and you may be new to XboxEra, you might not know this exists, right? And we're not a big company, so we're not pumping tons of money into advertising. I mean, we're not pumping any money into advertising. We rely on you guys to do all of our talking for us. But day one is a custom built for the ground out application, full Game Pass, where you can track, rate, and read reviews on. It's all embedded. You can filter by co-op, 4K, you know, all these different features. It's super slick, super quick, and it's all API driven. So it's very, very cool. And you should definitely check it out. And thank you, Jesse, for doing the little tour there on the YouTubes. But yeah, ID at Xbox, they also did a show. Loads of games coming from indies. The ID at Xbox show, I've seen a lot of people like not liking it. I think you need to realize who that's for. Yeah, the Twitch one. It's a little bit millennial driven. I'm going to say that as an old person, even though I'm technically classed as a millennial somehow.
Yes, you are. You technically are. 1981 on millennial.
Go figure.
I am Gen X.
Lucky you, man. I'm jealous, honestly.
It could be worse. You could be Gen Z.
Yeah, that's true. Thank God I'm not that. But they did also announce the very cutesy-looking Let's Build a Zoo, which I know Suki Brood on the XboxEra team is quite keen on playing. He loves the Zoo Builder. He's going to be looking to review that, but that's coming to Game Pass on September 29th. And outside of that, I mean, if I look at everything that's been shown at the ID Xbox full showcase...
Was Song of Iron 2 there?
Song of Iron 2 was announced, I think.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is great. Good for that guy. I was solo dev with Song of Iron. It was a solid first effort. I know, Jesse, you weren't in love with it, but you did like a lot of...
I liked everything about it except for the combat, which is one thing he said he's really worked on, which is...
Yeah. I love how it looked visually, and then I started playing the demo of it, and man, it was just clunky, and I was so disappointed because it was a game I wanted to really like and get into.
The trailer for 2 gives away the entire ending of 1. So if you haven't played 1 yet, don't watch that trailer. that game goes somewhere at the end that you will never guess. So
I hope it feels better than this one. I hope the second one feels better to play.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it, man, because I loved the ideas behind it. So, but you know, quickly off the top of my head, I'm reading XboxEra.com right now. Valheim, very, very popular survival. PC. Is coming to PC September 29th. Xbox, sorry folks, waiting until 2023 for that one. We've got Homestead Arcana in 2023. Turnip Boy is getting a sequel. He's robbing a bank this time and not dodging his taxes. You Suck at Parking was shown off, but that's out now. Metal Hellsinger, which our review dropped earlier this week. Really, really positive reviews across the board.
That looks a lot like Doom.
It is Doom. It's Doom Eternal with rhythm shooting.
Yeah. So if you ever play beats per minute, BPM, that I think was the seed of the genre, and this is kind of refining the ideas. Moon Scars is due September 27th. The Walking Dead, the Telltale series, the final season is out later this year. Amazing,
just like a TV show. It never ends.
It never ends. And then we've got Evil in October, The Big Con later on this year, and Born of Bread. So they're all coming to Game Pass. There was also a Ghostbusters game shown, and Song of Iron 2. So all of the trailers.
The Ghostbusters game had been announced, hadn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I recall seeing it before. So but I can see in the chat. Isn't the developer of Song of Iron the guy who paid to be on a podcast? I have no idea on that. I've spoken to the developer. He seemed like a very nice chap. So But there's nothing wrong with paying for advertising if that's what he wants to do, even if he did do that. So it's not a criticism. Where do you think adverts come from? Someone pays for them. But yeah, so Microsoft, Xbox, Nintendo, Switch, PlayStation,
lots of shows this week.
There's
a lot of shows. And then there was also two side shows.
Yep.
That happened. One at 343 and one at the CMA.
Well,
so there was 2 side shows throughout the week.
Well, yeah. Which one do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about? Because we kind of covered Bonnie Ross and Halo.
I was about to say, I assume you guys covered Bonnie Ross and Halo.
We covered her departure.
You had me at Halo.
Yes, we did. In quite detail.
Yeah. I was watching that for a little bit, but I was in the waiting room at the doctor for my
rash.
son, so I couldn't watch too much of it. But yeah, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, well,
absolutely out of nowhere.
I think look, the medical emergency part. I saw people kind of, oh, how convenient. Like, the plan is not out of nowhere. The medical emergency at home bumped up the schedule, so that's why it is what it is. Because they already had. Plan? So there is a restructure going on within 343. Bonnie Ross's job has been split out, and this was going to happen, but it wasn't meant to happen this week. But there is a genuine medical emergency, so a lot of people using that as, that's why she's out, and it's just an excuse. No, she was always going to depart later on in the year after the winter update in November. But the medical emergency brought all these plans forward, but her role has been split, as I understand it, into 3, so that much to, some of the discussions we've had, whereas she was head of the studio, but she had to look after, you had the game directors and the creative teams doing just the game, and then you had transmedia, then you had books, then you had comics, then you had clothing. She was managing all of that. They've split that out. So you've got the game, the transmedia stuff and the show, and they've split them out so that they're managed, and then they run back to the head boss. So right. Pieter Hines, I don't know if I've got his name right. Keep me honest, Jesse. He's taken over the
Pierre, not Peter.
Yeah, thank you. I know it began with a P.
Pierre Hintz, I believe.
Hins, thank you. Hines. Beans means Hines. But yeah, it is a thing. So it's happened. But I think, the bigger sideshow, most assuredly, is the Country Music Awards have voted.
Did you see, though, while we were talking about Halo, season 2 of the Halo show started filming?
I saw that in Iceland, which is a...
Yeah.
I've been to Iceland.
I've been
to Iceland. It is a beautiful country, and if you ever get the chance to go, you should 100% do so. It is incredible as a place.
I was there. I was there filming. Didn't you see? I was in the group photo. I was in the group photo and everything.
Yeah. But glad, I hope that they tighten things up for season 2. I feel like season 1, I watched it all, and there were good moments.
We got our backstory and our trauma stuff and all. So now in season 2, we can go a little more. Halo. Theoretically, now with season 2, we should go a little more action and a little more.
I hope so.
And it won't have it. The biggest thing that happened with season 1 is they lost an entire year to COVID, and you could see a real difference in what they shot before and what they shot after, and how much they had to cut out. So hopefully this will go smoother.
Yeah, I still didn't mind season 1.
I think the biggest there's a couple of big glaring things. I don't like the direction that they've taken Chief, and I know they want to be able to give something for Pablo to do beyond I need a weapon and gruff military tones. And I've seen some theories saying that, where Cortana kind of was in his brain and kind of took him over, that he's now going to be kind of more stoic and Chief-like than he used to be, right? He kind of hinted at the end where he wasn't really talking, he was just nodding and doing Chiefy type interactions. But Chief has always been a bit of a quipper. He's always had a quip, when needed. But I think the biggest thing, and I do wonder, you remember when before the show aired, we had that story that Marty O'Donnell and the other composer for the original Halo theme were like, no, Microsoft, we want to stop the show. You've not paid us royalties. And they settled out of court. But outside of the being in the show as a motif, there was no moment. Like the moment, the Warthog episode where the quarry got attacked and they were in the hog. As a fan, what I wanted to hear was, Chief, punch it. And then, and it didn't happen. And I'm watching this. I'm like, what the fuck? This is a Halo show. You have the best music in some of any video game ever made. put it in the goddamn show. Give me that moment as a fan. And they didn't. And that's stupid.
You know what's happened, John? Anytime I do anything Halo related, if any of their music comes up now, we get immediately demonetized. Really? That is what that
bloody
lawsuit was about. Yeah, it gets literally hit by Martin O'Donnell. He will demonetize and occasionally block your video if you use old Halo music, which is why I've only used Infinite lately.
I never and maybe it's my naivete, but I feel like the music industry is the number one entertainment industry for shooting itself in the face, for cutting off its own nose to spite its face. And again, this is just my opinion, but I feel like the music industry needs to understand its role. Yeah. People don't buy other forms of media for the music. They buy music for music. The other forms of media advertise your music. And then people then go and buy it, consume it, however they want to do it. It's not the other way around. The only piece of entertainment media I have seen in my lifetime that is intrinsically linked to its music, to the point where you would not buy this piece of media without the music, is Crazy Taxi.
Yeah.
You would not buy Crazy Taxi without The Offspring. You just wouldn't. That's the only one in all of history. Name me a movie you would not watch because of music missing. A great movie.
Lord of the Rings trilogy.
So if they changed the music to something else,
it wouldn't be
or whatever,
good.
You wouldn't watch it. No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. I didn't say it would be as good. I said you just flat out wouldn't buy it or watch it.
Oh man, what if they re-released all copies of the original films were burned because the music?
Because the licensing issues, and there was a Marty O'Donnell for Lord of the Rings.
The music is as integral as the characters in those films. That's the last time in memory that an entire, it was all composed. It was brilliant. But anyway, we're getting off on a tangent.
I just said, I get what you mean. That's right. Grease, lol. Yes, Grease. That's a musical, though. That's a little bit different.
I can give you a game, but you guys haven't played it, but Metal Hellsinger. That game's music is incredible, and it is 100% why you want to play it. The nice thing about that game is they actually made all that music with real musicians, so it's not part of the music industry, so I was able to use it in our review.
Nice.
Yes, everyone's sitting there talking about all those musicals. Yes, the musicals are obvious because they are what the movie is. I'm talking other movies and games, like Terminator 2. You probably wouldn't never watch Terminator 2 again if they got rid of Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, Guns N' Roses
in it. Yeah, okay. You may not enjoy it as much, but it wouldn't suddenly make you not want to watch Terminator 2. Where with Crazy Taxi, you can't play it. If the ya's not there, I'm not playing Crazy Taxi. That just...
Yeah, it's not much of a game. The experience is a lot of it for that.
The Offspring in Crazy Taxi, it's just the best. As soon as you hear that ya, it's like, man, it's so good. But I can't play Crazy Taxi without that. All the Offspring music just blends so beautifully with that game. It's the only example that I can think of. But yeah, when look at Kate Bush now. She's suddenly a multi-millionaire again because of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
So imagine if she turned around and pulled a Marty O'Donnell. No, you don't use my stuff. She now would have just cost herself millions of dollars. Movies and games sell your music. Let them. Stop getting in the way.
I know what you mean. I don't disagree.
Do you understand? I understand there's examples to every rule. I get that. Don't get me wrong. I understand there's examples to every rule. But movies and games sell music, not the other way around.
Yeah. No,
but yet it's the music industry that always holds them back through licensing crap and this and that. It's just always seemed so odd to me.
The wrong way round. Yeah. We've got a super chat from Woodja Santoso.
Yes, we do. Where is it? Hold on, sorry. Doncabesa is sick. People say that Halo needs to spin off games to other devs. Who in the 3-person leadership would decide those spin-offs?
People saying that Halo needs to spin off to other devs, that is an overreaction to a difficult period of time that 343 are in. I'm not saying that Microsoft might not have an internal conversation and another developer of a studio that they own might go, hey, 343, can we do something in Halo? We've had this really cool idea. And there's no reason that Microsoft couldn't say, well, okay, yeah, sure, go, But I don't think that in any world they're going to go off and give Halo to another development party.
I took his question as do spin-offs with other studios, like different
genres. It's possible, but I don't think there's going to be. I've seen a lot of give Halo to other devs, so I don't think that's going to happen. But spin-offs, sure.
Yeah. Who would decide that? And I think that ends up being, well, Pierre and like Phil and everyone would work together.
Matt Booty.
Yeah.
Because obviously
that'd be a very high-level decision.
Yeah, it would be like the one studio head goes to Matt and goes, "We want to do a Halo game. Can we organize something with 343? We had an idea," and then the coalition do a Gears of War Flood Halo type game, survival game, and you're surviving the flood. Great, horror elements, cool.
Careful, WCCF Tech's going to report that as a real thing now.
Yeah, maybe.
Why, look at that. People in the chat keep talking about like music-specific games and movies. Stop doing that. You know what I'm talking about. Don't sit there and say, oh, Guitar Hero. Even Guitar Hero, the game still sells the music. Even in that case, the game sells the music. Not the other way around. Like, there are games where you hear... Like, I'm old, so I should know the song Slow Ride. You know that song, Slow Ride?
Slow Ride.
I only know that song because of Guitar Hero.
Man,
when I hear it on the radio or in a movie, I'm like, that's from Guitar Hero. Like, even in a music game like that, the game sells the music. Fortnite does it. Fortnite sells music. Like, games and movies sell music. Yes, there are exceptions, but the vast majority, that's the way it goes.
Indeed. Anyway, we're at that point in the show where we want to talk a little bit more about the CMA because we were on a tangent. So,
Sony's PR arm that are doing all the
Country Music Awards, really against Call of Duty being owned by Microsoft. Yeah, here we go again.
Every new thing I hear, actually, and. The funny thing is, and this is coming from someone that doesn't even want the ABK deal to go through. Like, every time I hear the CMA talk, I'm like, why are you saying this? This sounds like it's coming from Sony. Why are you saying it? Like, why is the CMA so concerned at the potential of Sony not being the market leader? Why is that their concern?
It is very odd.
Like, you can't sit there and question why people come up with conspiracy theories that the CMA is in Sony's pocket when they say stuff like that. Yeah. Like, I get it. I can totally understand the conspiracy theory that the CMA is in Sony's pocket because listen to the stuff they're saying. Like, oh, what happens to Sony? And, oh no, look, why do you care? So if Sony goes from being the dominant market leader to the slightly less dominant market leader, or God forbid, second place, so what concern is it of yours?
That's all based on what ifs. And it goes back to what we were originally saying. So, the CMA announced, we're going to do a phase 2 and reiterated some of their concerns that were...
Well, it's not 2022 anymore.
Yeah. It's
not anymore.
Our delicious October prediction is dead and buried, right? So let's leave that one. We've died on that hill, right? We were wrong. Yeah. So the CMA... and I think others will do so as well, of announcing these phase 2 investigations. Now, normally it's a bit of a formality, but the CMA made a particular statement where they referred back to what did feel a little bit what Sony had been saying about that it would have, or it could have potential damages to the industry because of
gamers. Why?
It's bizarre.
Because they'd have to buy an Xbox.
Yeah, and Sony said it welcomes the announcement and adds that the deal would have had major negative implications for gamers and the future of the gaming industry.
Why?
Why would it? Because they won't give you a contract in perpetuity. I mean, it's
last
bizarre.
time I checked, the market leader doesn't have Call of Duty on their platform. And they survive just fine without it. Don't they? Don't Nintendo survive just fine without Call of Duty?
It's so bizarre a statement.
So how can people not think that the CMA is in Sony's pocket?
I can understand why people
How could you not? Because they're literally doing PR for them. Like, it's crazy that a government regulator is saying this sort of stuff. It's absolutely insane. Like, it is crazy.
It's bonkers. And the follow-up from Sony as well. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality gaming experience, and we appreciate the CMA's focus on protecting gamers while we raise prices.
Yeah, protecting gamers or protecting PlayStation gamers? Because they're not protecting gamers. Because and it's funny that at the exact same time Sony's having a cry about losing COD, they've announced play the Modern Warfare beta first on PlayStation.
Painful.
And it's like, are you for real right now? Like, are you actually for real? Like, it's like they're trying to hide the corruption in plain sight. Like, oh my God, it's absolutely insanity to me. It is absolute insanity.
And Microsoft did respond to this, and Phil's been doing a bit of a tour as well. He did some questions online, but Microsoft responded to Sony's comments saying, removing Call of Duty from PlayStation makes zero business sense. And this is the point. And this is, I don't understand how people don't focus on this. They offered a written deal to say they would guarantee PlayStation Call of Duty for 3 more years beyond the existing deal, but they're never going to offer a deal forever, a forever deal.
Forever.
They don't exist in business.
Happen.
Right?
There's no such thing.
It doesn't happen for Minecraft. It's on a rolling contract that is negotiated regularly.
That's right.
The same thing would happen here. I know you were on the camp that as soon as they get the opportunity, Microsoft will just say, "Yeah,
you yank it. Exclusive." You yank it. And you know what? Everything that's happening now, even more so, yank it faster.
Yeah, if this goes through, I would not
yank
blame Microsoft
it faster.
For being like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, I'd be like, no, F you.
Petty
we were going to extend it for ages, but now you can go and get stuffed.
Yeah, there would be a bit of me that would be a petty bitch about it if I was Microsoft.
Oh,
but
man,
I'm actually on the camp that
petty.
I think that they would treat Call of Duty exactly like Minecraft. To be honest with you, I genuinely do. It's such a gargantuan moneymaker across all of the platforms that it's just my personal belief, right? You're absolutely right. And the one caveat I would add to this is, they would keep it on PlayStation and they keep it on all platforms.
Until
they would definitely add it to Game Pass.
Until
the tipping point would be a new generation of consoles. That's the point where you could go.
Think about how huge the Xbox Series, if they're going to stick with the series name, the next Xbox and PlayStation 6 launch together in 2027, 2028. By the way, we're launching with Call of Duty, and it's only on Xbox from here on out. Oh, that would hurt so bad. That would hurt so bad. Like, that would just be... Oh, my God. That would be massive. That would probably be cataclysmic.
Yeah.
Like, that would just... And I would 100%... I mean, personally, I'd yank it. Like, after all of this circus, I'd yank it the second the deal goes through, but that's just me. I mean, you're talking about $1 trillion company. Like, pay the fine. Just pay the fine. Pay whatever the fine is and just yank it. Like, like, nah, screw you, Jim. Like, if you're going to have to you're going to sit there and cry, and you're going to sit there and out what we spoke about, and you're going to, nah, see you later. Yeah. You make your bangers, go make yourself a banger. Go make yourself a first-person banger. You got Bungie.
Yeah, go for it.
Make yourself a first-person banger and see what you can pull out.
Now, it's interesting. Popular video game forum, etc. The really
where the verified poster that said PlayStation VR 2 was going to have backwards compatibility.
Darkwing Duck.
Things change. I guess things change. Darkwing and it was funny. He was just like, "Oh, sorry guys," and everyone was like, "That's okay." It's like, seriously, man, what a joke.
Yeah,
sorry guys.
The guy, the user on Resetera, Idas, who did some really good breakdowns when all of the kind of Brazilian stuff came out. He's done an OT now, and they've made an OT for the thingy, the whole Microsoft, much like we've done on the XboxEra forums. We've tried to keep it all in one place, and he's put some notes here. So Saudi Arabia have approved the acquisition on August the 22nd. The United Arab Emirates could be in other approval, but we don't know, apparently. Under review, South Korea is in phase 2. There are usually 3 phases to approval. So South Korea in phase 2, South Africa is in phase 3, Brazil, and it's in phase 2. Turkey is in phase 2, New Zealand is in phase 2, Australia, phase 2, Japan.
Stupid Australians.
Expect news later on this month, October. UK is in phase 2. USA, phase 2, mid-July. Everyone's a bit stupid. No one from Europe, like as a continent, has notified yet. India, nothing. Israel, nothing. Canada, China, and Colombia, nothing there. But if you want to have a full breakdown, I have to admit, Idas's thread on Resetera is very well written out.
You know what Microsoft should do?
Go and have a read.
I have an idea.
Go on.
Keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, right? Keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. And then send out a statement, public statement. So listen, fighting this battle against the CMA costs us a lot of money. A lot of legal fees, with the hired extra staff, a lot of cost involved in getting the ABK deal through. We need to recoup those costs somehow. So we're going to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. The price has gone up to $90. Xbox owners, it's on Game Pass and it's $60. Keep it on PlayStation in perpetuity for $90.
I think the funny money one back would be like, "Hey Sony, yeah, don't worry, you can have it in perpetuity.
$90.
No, in perpetuity, we'll give it to you, but it has to release on Game Pass on PlayStation. Let us know when you're ready for us to build the app.
$90, charge $90, and then $40 per map." For the DLC per map. Don't go a bundle per map. $40. So hey, we kept our promise. COD's getting PlayStation forever. It's just going to cost double. That's all, because we've got to get all that money back from fighting you clowns. So we've got to get that money back.
Paying for all those solicitors. But there you go.
That's what we do
it. Hey, I've heard a rumor that there's a Rumourmill today. Is this true?
Is there?
Is there?
Yeah, a little bit.
Hey, Jesse.
It's kind of an update.
Oh, okay. Jesse, is your PC going to die if you press the Rumourmill button?
Yeah. My PC should be fine. It's just that weird codec thing. We'll see. All right, I'm going to play it, and if everything explodes, we'll see you next week.
Boom.
Rumourmill. We've never heard that before. It's the Rumourmill. Things change, we can't be sure. It's the Rumourmill. You know they may not come true.
The XboxEra podcast is not responsible for websites presenting these rumors as facts.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a little bit of an update because some of my sources watch this show. So sometimes I get told off. Sometimes I get corrected. I get all sorts of things. So last week I had the thing about Asobo prototyping
a
racing game. Yep. And people were like, Rand, we had Rand on. Rand's like, is it a kart racer? Is it this, that? So my guy must have watched the show, and then he sent me a DM about it, giving me an update on this Asobo thing they're prototyping, and said, say it next week. So apparently, what I've been told is that with this racing game that they're prototyping. Remember, when a game's being prototyped, there's no guarantee it even sees the light of day. Yeah. And just because certain people haven't heard of anything, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, by the way. So, what I'm hearing about the Asobo racing game is that it's more of an arcade racer in the vein of Cruisin' USA. And they're trialing or they're mucking around with using real world data, a la Flight
Sim. I saw someone have that idea on Twitter.
Yeah.
Imagine using real streets and
how cool would that
detail. Be? Very cool.
Again, I don't because again, arcade racer. So you think is that a bit of a juxtaposition there? But I don't know. So, but again, it's all in prototyping. So I assume they're fiddling with a lot of different things, and maybe none of it comes to light because it just doesn't work or whatever. But that if they could pull something like that off,
very cool.
Kind of like Flight Sim, but driving, but an arcade racer. So I guess that's almost like Project Gotham, isn't it?
I guess it would be.
If you think about it. That's almost sounds like Project Gotham. Again, please, oh my God, please, I shouldn't have said that. Don't take that as me saying they're working on Project Gotham. I'm saying as in, you know how Project Gotham, they tried to
use
recreate...
real-world locations,
Yes. That's why I'm like, I wonder if that almost sounds like Project Gotham.
Yeah.
In terms of Cruisin' USA, but they're using real-world...
I love the idea, and I'd be very intrigued because obviously, if you're taking photos from a satellite, as soon as you're not on top anymore, everything is just blur. But if you could use something like Google Street View, where you've got all of the streets and you're capturing all of that, maybe you go around a lot of these real world locations and capture it using specialist equipment, and then you build that out. I mean, that would be very, very cool. I'd love to see something like that. And I know...
like reading that now and discussing its possibilities, it does sound a lot like Project Gotham, doesn't it?
It does a bit, yeah.
It does sound like that's what that could be. Like they're prototyping this with a view to...
Is it possible?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Is this... Are they doing this with a view to, hey guys, this is a pitch for Project Gotham?
You've said it too many times. This? After saying, I wish I hadn't said that, you've now said it too many times.
No, I know.
Because not be picked up on.
Well, we should be allowed to just talk about stuff. We should be allowed to just talk about
that's
stuff.
Not how the internet takes these conversations.
I'm not saying...
Look at the chat, PGR confirmed. What have you done to yourself, Nick? You're going to be in trouble now. You're going to be in trouble. Nick's just confirmed PGR.
Why is it that like others can just talk about stuff casually, but then I talk about stuff casually? The DM says like Cruisin' USA. It doesn't say Project Gotham here. I'm reading it on my second screen. The DM
it's
says
because
Cruisin'
they
USA.
get things wrong all the time, and you actually don't.
And I'm just saying that sounds like Project Gotham. That's all I'm saying. I think that sounds.
That's
like
gonna be that's gonna be on Gaming Leaks and Rumors now on Reddit. PGR confirmed.
No.
Oh, Nick, what have you done?
No, it won't.
What have you done?
How cool would it be?
Love the show, guys. Though. First for news and announcements. PGR confirmation. When does Project Gotham Racing launch? Destin. Special Nick reports that Asobo is making Project Gotham sequel. Nick confirms PGR revival. Look, mate, dude, what have you done? What have you done to yourself? You've made a terrible mistake. XboxEra would like to disassociate itself from... well, Rumourmill's always fun.
Anyway, that was just the update. The other part of it, speaking of Asobo, apparently there's going to be like other vehicles possibly coming to Flight Sim, like jetpacks and stuff.
Jetpacks? Because they added helicopters, they added fighter jets, and... Did
they? I don't know. I don't play Flight Sim.
Yeah, they added helicopters. I think helicopters.
The Pelican from Halo.
The Pelican.
I just got the DM. They said more fantastical vehicles, but probably coming to Flight Sim, such as a jetpack.
I don't know.
They say a jetpack. So does that mean you're going to be a person with a jetpack on?
Very curious.
In Flight Sim?
I want to know.
No, you'll be a plane with a jetpack on.
Why isn't Crimson Skies a thing?
I don't
Wasn't
know.
that good? I'm kidding.
Right.
I've never played it.
All right.
I've played it for about 10 minutes.
That should be a coffee with Cabeza video. stream this week?
I want people want to I want things that people actually want to watch. So.
Okay. All right. Be that way. If they did reboot PGR, dude, you're doomed. And Asobo acquisition is a must. No,
isn't Asobo half owned by someone else?
Don't know. Still independent, as far as I'm aware. But you've definitely.
I thought Focus had an investment in them. I thought Focus had an investment in them.
They've got a deal. They've got a deal to publish some of their games. I think.
I thought they owned part of them.
They are privately owned. That's all it says.
Yeah.
I swear, I effing swear. I don't want to swear that hard, but I effing swear. If this becomes shit on Twitter, you said Project Gotham was coming back. I swear, I'll lose it. I'll lose it,
bro. It's happening. You've done it to yourself. You've only got yourself to blame. And then
Isn't it the guy that said PGR's coming back?
Yeah, that's gonna be you. That's gonna be you. All right. That's the Rumourmill for this week. Hey, 250 odd people watching. We love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Only 134 likes. If you've got a thumb or a finger on a mouse button, please hit that button.
Did you just do
a little burp? I didn't. I think Jesse burped.
Jesse, did you not mute yourself when you did that? Did you forget to mute yourself?
Did anyone else?
I am nowhere. It's funny. I was nowhere near the mic, and I thought I had it muted. Yeah, there you go.
When I do those massive coughs, I click the little mute button in StreamYard, so you see me visibly coughing.
Yeah, I think
you don't hear the gross phlegmy cough.
When it was already muted.
And then when I heard the massive burp, when I heard the huge burp, I'm like,
well, I might have started drinking. I might have started drinking a lot of alcohol after the problems earlier in the show.
Oh my god, ridiculous! All right,
I heard it, and in my head, I'm like, I don't think that's muted because we wouldn't have heard it.
The burp heard around the world. I'll save Jesse by changing tacks and saying it's time to say thank you to all of our wonderful patrons. If you are here for the first time watching the XboxEra podcast, or if you've been here for a long time, you should know that XboxEra is supported by our patrons entirely. You're right, Nick. Take a deep breath. Hit your mute button, bro. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to be professional here.
At least the other side, when that went off, that didn't come through the mic.
XboxEra is supported by our patrons, and you can do that too by visiting patreon.com/XboxEra. And by doing so, you get a ton of perks. For as little as $1, you can have ad-free browsing on our forums and access to the Patreon lounge, where you get to post some enjoyable community questions for us to answer every week. At some point, we're going to have to stop it because the community questions will just get too ridiculous. But for now, we soldier on. But you also get stuff like t-shirts and stickers, and we update them every quarter, and they're usually exclusive to you on the Patreon for quite some time. So please consider helping the team out, because we're doing more crazy stuff very soon, and we need as many patrons as we can, if I'm honest. But anyway, thanks, patrons. Let's dive into community questions, Nick.
Yes, there's a completely and utterly reasonable number of them today.
Oh, jolly good. Glad to hear it. Were we in double digits or single digits?
Single.
Oh, jolly good.
Almost snuck into a handful.
Oh.
Yeah, I did reopen it after Nick closed it, so that
I know, I saw that.
Get in.
Okay, Cade Forever. We all know Goldeneye is overrated, Nick. No, it's not. That being said, can you imagine how much fun you're going to have playing GoldenEye multiplayer on Nintendo servers exclusively? I'm lucky I don't care that much about the multiplayer on GoldenEye. I'm all about that campaign. Trust me, any of you that have added me on Xbox, you'll see 99% of the time you'll see Nick is playing Rocket League. Don't worry. You're going to see some GoldenEye now. You're going to see Nick is playing GoldenEye. Level 1, 00 difficulty, Verdansk, whatever it's called, that first level, the dam.
The dam, yeah.
The dam. Then you're going to see he's playing 007 difficulty. Then he's playing the next... Yeah, don't worry, you'll see me playing a lot of GoldenEye.
Lots of screenshots of you playing GoldenEye.
Yeah,
fair
we'll
enough.
see me playing lots of GoldenEye.
Fair enough.
I won't play that stupid online Nintendo thing. No way. Why would I want to split my screen online?
It's a stupid idea.
I'd rather have no multiplayer. Like, I would rather have none than that. So I'm gonna have because we're in this weird spoiled generation, and that's despite me growing up in the days of split screening a 2-centimeter TV. Like, we were kids. I find it hilarious that as kids, we used to play split screen Nintendo 64 on a 30-centimeter TV. And we were like cool with it. We're like, yeah, this is awesome. Even though the gun was that big. And we were like, this is amazing. Now we have 55-inch and 60-inch bedroom TVs that we don't want to split the screen on.
No, it's all mine. It's my real estate.
It makes no sense. There's no way known I'm splitting the screen online. Like, that's just... Why would I want to do that? If I'm going to split the screen, then I'm going to have the fun of having it locally.
Yeah, where you've got like a little...
So we're all there on the couch. And, I'll bring back the LAN night and we'll have GoldenEye on the 65-inch TV in the lounge and we'll all be playing. Because you're splitting the screen online anyway, so why throw the lag in and throw in all the... whatever. Like,
I'm with you, bro.
Who would want to do that? Who would want to do that? That's just...
crazy people.
Dumb. So that's not the... I saw everyone on Twitter and Rand was giving me shit. That ain't the W you think it is. Because playing online split screen's not online. That's garbage. Okay. HythamG. Here we go. This is the last time I asked you this question about GoldenEye, and I don't want to repeat that question. And please don't be a masochist about the MS and Nintendo partnership when I ask this. This is when I ask, is this the partnership between those two, not to be a spammer or a repeater of anything?
I think he's asked questions about the Nintendo and Xbox partnership. Yeah. He's saying, is this the one or...
No, it's not. But you know what? I wish I had just taken it. Like, a part of me, and again, this is that thing about how I'm too honest for my own good. I wish that when they announced Banjo in Smash, the Amiibo, I wish I had just said that was it.
Yeah.
A part of me wishes I had just taken that W and said, yeah, there it is. There's the Microsoft Nintendo partnership, and just taken it. But me being me,
nope. That's interesting. Maybe you should read the second part of his question.
Also, by any chance, did you bug your sources about the Microsoft and Nintendo partnership? And I'm calling the shots on this one. The partnership between these two is going to be Game Pass with xCloud. All Xbox variations on Nintendo Switch Online, remote play, cross-save, cross-progression with the save Xbox games on Switch, and maybe individual Xbox games getting a port to the Switch like MCC, Gears of War games, Forza games, or whatever the partnership is. I'm calling these shots. Your take?
That's an interesting
I have continued to ask about that Nintendo-Microsoft partnership. Again, I still know what it was I was told about. It still has not happened, and not sure where it sits. As everyone is continuing to find out now, after me copying a year's worth of crap about Persona, as everyone is discovering now, these deals take a while and these deals change as well.
Darkwing Duck.
Like I said, I got the DM about Valheim a year and a half ago. Got the DM about Goku in Fortnite a year and a half ago. Persona over a year and a half ago. These deals can take a while and stuff. I don't know. Stuff gets in the way. Darkwing Duck. Things change and
things change.
I mean, look at the Ubisoft thing. Look how that's panned out. It's just they're slowly at the moment. It's them slowly drip feeding all these Ubisoft games into Game Pass. We got Immortals. We got Assassin's Creed. We got it. I don't know. It just seems to keep changing and evolving. I don't know at the moment. I'm not sure. Yes, I was dumb enough to admit that it wasn't Goldeneye and it wasn't Banjo. That is a mistake I made. I should have lied to all of you and just taken the W, and that would have been it.
There would have been a calmer world for you, Nick.
Yeah.
But alas.
Yeah. So I don't know where it sits as of right now. Okay. Creaky leaks. But to your second part of the question, though, like you're saying Game Pass xCloud, that would make sense. That I think would be something that Microsoft would want to do. I think it was in the Epic... Wasn't it part of the Epic court case? It basically came out that Microsoft went to Nintendo and were like, we want to chuck Game Pass on PlayStation and Switch and all these other platforms. Didn't that come out of the Epic case?
Something like that.
Or am I misremembering?
Something like that, but apologies for my laughter there. I just saw someone's just appeared in the chat that hasn't chatted all evening, but they've said, hey guys, just got here from Twitter. Heard it's been confirmed Project Gotham Racing, developed by Asobo, that uses the flight sim engine with over 2,000 cars set in the Star Wars universe. You are
set in the Star Wars universe.
Oh, I love it. That's cracked me up.
Set in the Star Wars universe. Okay.
Sorry.
Creaky legs. There's only like 3 more questions. Creaky legs. Hello, lads. The goat has arrived. Goldeneye. Yes. Goldeneye. Look at that. Still in the plastic. Look at that. From 1996. Still in the plastic.
You won't have to blow in that cartridge slot.
Yeah, I reckon I may have to with a friggin' one of these things. Where is it? I have to blow in the cartridge with one of these. To get that to work. It's going to take more than just me blowing on it.
Oh my
God. We're talking about a game so ahead of its time that you could fire a rocket launcher straight up into the sky outside and it will come back down at some point. Games today, they just vanish into the skybox. Jim Crying Ryan has been so worried about Call of Duty, he didn't even notice a 00 just stuck up past him and took his lunch money. Yeah, that's right. Like, PlayStation don't get GoldenEye. You can have all your bangers that you want, bros, but you don't have GoldenEye.
For you.
So, if you don't have GoldenEye, do you really have bangers? Do you?
Yeah, if you don't have that, does it really matter anymore?
I don't know. Like, you don't have Halo. You don't have GoldenEye. That's 2 of the most important shooters in the history of video games. And soon you won't have Call of Duty. 3.
Some might call it addition by subtraction, though, and they're better off for not having it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's 3 of the biggest shooters of all time that they're not going to have at some point. At the moment, they got 1 of the 3, but soon they're not going to have any of them.
Oh dear.
Oh well, too bad, so sad. What are you going to do? Okay. Good old Collingwood. Hello, John, Nick, and Jesse. Writing this before the AFL preliminary finals because win or lose, our boys are winners anyway. We were written off at the start of the season. Look where they are now. That's correct. So, before the season started, everyone predicted that Collingwood would be in the bottom 4. So, it's an 18-team competition.
Ouch.
The top 8 go into the finals, and then they knock each other out. Everyone predicted Collingwood would be bottom 4. Down 15th, 16th, 17th, or 18th, or last. And we finished in the top 4. Too good. So, yes. But we lost last night. Devastating. Why are people so mean? More precisely, why are people disposed, don't you mean predisposed, to look at the negative side rather than the positive side? Of course, I'm talking about the resignation of Bonnie Ross. Now, while most people understood the reasons why Ms. Ross was retiring, there was a minority in their followers who were suspicious of the reason and timing of the resignation. They said that medical reasons was just shorthand for being fired, but to spare the reputation of the person being fired. And it wasn't just from Halo content creators, but also from gaming content creators looking for a cheap and easy topic. So, what can we do as individuals and a community to counter this? Good old Collingwood. The name is Sarah Bond. Don't you mean Bond, Sarah Bond?
Yeah, wrong,
you can't do anything to counter it. There's nothing you can do to counter it because as long as the algorithm and engagement is driven by negativity, then piss off, Rand. As long as the engagement and the algorithm is driven by negativity, you're never going to stop that. I'm not reading that super chat.
I'm reading it. I'm reading the super chat. It's on the screen. Randall Thor 19 has said, I've got a couple of DMs from people saying Nick has confirmed Asobo is working on a reboot of Project Gotham Racing. Should I make a video? Apparently so, Rand. Apparently it's all over the internet. Nick confirmed it earlier in the show. You can rewind to hear him definitely say that it's definitely coming. But look, on that subject, I actually I was on the You Had Me at Halo podcast earlier this week, which I enjoyed doing because I don't have to worry about hosting, and unfortunately I probably spoke too much. But I went on a bit of a rant. But you're right. You know, the algorithms of our social media thrive on hate, distrust, shock value, and negativity. And it's gross. And I'm like, why can't, if that's all math that's doing that, so why can't the math be altered to thrive on positivity and good things? And yeah, because it doesn't make as much money.
I think it's because humans by nature are negative.
Yeah.
I think it's just in our nature to be negative, which is sad in a way, isn't it?
It is sad. It's depressing. I watched it's really weird. You know the end of Babe, the film, George Miller.
I have not seen Babe.
Wow, okay, you need to see that. It's amusing in and of itself that George Miller, the man that wrote, directed Mad Max Fury Road, one of the greatest action films of all time, also made Babe. But at the end of Babe, there's this wonderful little moment where they use a piece of classical music, and they put lyrics to it. It never used to have lyrics to it, but it's usually played on an organ, and I can't remember the name of the classical piece, but it's If I Had Words, and it's got this really like uplifting feel to it. The end of the Babe is the quintessential way human beings should feel about each other, like hope and joy, and unfortunately we always devolve into killing each other, and it's just depressing. But you see that kind of stuff. Like there's a wonderful YouTube video out there where, and it's from years old, it's they did an ode to joy, you know, the classical piece of music, joyful, blah blah blah, but it's a flash mob. So this little girl goes up and she puts a coin in the double bass player's hat, and all these people start coming out, and you see these people, like when the music hits, you see it hit them and give them that oomph and give them the goosebumps and put a smile on their face. And it's that stuff that should be going viral. It just, you know, Halo content creators in particular have a lot to answer for, I think, around that subject. Like, you've chosen to make a career, your entire brand, to revolve around one game. Right, and you will do anything, and that's where it's depressing. I get being disappointed. There's lots they need to fix, but when you will leap upon and tear it apart and tear those people apart, and then bitch when you're not invited to the next event because you spent 4 hours across a series of videos ripping them apart and getting personal, forget it. Like, you don't get to do that. It's make a call. Like, I get being honest with your audience, but do it in the right way. I don't know.
You know, I saw a video someone had put together basically compiling all the Halo content creators shitting on 343.
It's horrific.
And, you know, I started watching this video, and the moment I kind of stopped was when they used that moron that doesn't know how Game Pass and buying games works. You know that dude that was like...
Yeah, he went viral on Twitter for
I paid $1 for Halo, and then they wanted to charge me to then have co-op. I had to buy the game to play Halo. Like, what the hell? I was like, why are you using him? Like, you kind of invalidate your entire video when you use a guy that doesn't know how the concept of buying a video game works.
That's stupid.
Probably not the best person to use if you're using him to back up your arguments. That turns around now and makes me think that 343 must be doing a top-notch job.
Yeah.
If they're using him in videos. But yeah. Can't stop it. Is what it is. Get what you get. Don't get upset.
That's the one.
Omen. Happy GoldenEye announcement week. This week has certainly had a lot of ups and downs for Xbox. Bonnie Ross's departure has perhaps a bit of up and down. Several Japanese games and publishers shunning Xbox, Octopath Traveler, Stellar Blade, and that new Dragon Quest game. And then finally some pretty exciting, albeit old, Japanese franchises finally coming to Xbox alongside GoldenEye. There was so much news this week, I feel like TGS was a bigger deal than Gamescom this year.
I agree, I think it was.
Oh, it's funny. Oh no, sorry. No, I'm going to stop myself. Anyway, on to the question. Do you feel that Xbox is truly making momentum in Japan, or are they just throwing money to get older games on Game Pass only to get played by the devs and receive no sequels? Can I say both? I feel like it's both.
It's that with Square. Others seem a lot more into it. Sega
well, the question goes on.
Sega's all in. Sega's all in with them. I don't think Sega's screwing them over anymore.
They've got great relations with the bigger South Korean devs too, like NeoWiz.
Yeah, and I think they're okay with Capcom now. It does seem to be a mostly Square.
Very good with Bandai Namco and Koei Tecmo as well.
Yeah, it seems like it's very much Square. It seems like
the question does go in a little bit and talks about it being Square, funnily enough. So
yeah,
like there's a second part.
Yes, perhaps it's only limited to Square Enix, but I can't help but feel a little jaded after seeing Square Enix snap Xbox after launching some Japanese games I really enjoyed on Game Pass just last year, only to find out that Xbox isn't a platform they really care to release sequels on. A shame because I would have bought their sequels outright. Am I crazy to think this? Nah.
No,
like
you're not.
Square. I mean, you're talking about one of the only major publishers who is like full on out there in the NFT space. Like Square comes across like a company that's got no idea what's going on.
I think to broadly answer the question, you can see the effects year on year that Phil's outreach into the Japanese development community has had. I think that's fair. There's definitely still work to go. And, we've seen this year, we said earlier in the show, there's been some local hires now. They're building up that team and that presence, because I certainly think at the end of the 360 gen, certainly into the Xbox One gen, they just faded away. And Japanese developers were like, what's the point? Microsoft didn't seem committed for the first half of the Xbox One gen. They'd stopped paying for, your Blue Dragons and your things like that, and funding Japanese content exclusively. So not buying games that would have come out, but funding and going to creators and saying, hey, let's do something together. We've seen now the Kojima partnership. We saw lots of photos of Phil and the team on Twitter. And that's going to have an impact, and having a local presence has an impact. I did watch, and I think Jesse might even play it on screen. There was an interview with Phil and Sarah on screen, and one thing I thought about that was quite interesting. There was a joke where Phil just went, I work at Xbox. He didn't say he was the head of Xbox, and then Sarah jokingly was like, I do all the work to bring you all the games on Xbox. And I thought that was an interesting play. And I've heard
we've been saying that. We've been saying that we think Sarah is very aggressive, and she's the one behind getting all these Japanese deals done.
There was a bit of laughter between the two, about that when she said that. And I was like, it points to what we've heard, is that she is incredibly efficient and aggressive in a good way for us gamers at getting the content that Xbox should be getting. And I'm sure that as a team, they're as frustrated as perhaps we are that the Octopath one is a great example. We've got the first game, but not the second game.
Not the second game.
Why? It's going to be continuous improvement, but they've still got work to do. But I think the impact of these visits and these trips is definitely evident at this point.
I still maintain, if they want to have a real impact in Japan, get a portable Series S out there.
100.
I'm telling you now, I'm not joking. Like, if they can get a portable Series S out in Japan, all of a sudden Japanese devs will be like, well, hold on a second. Now we've got a console that can run these games. We're not beholden to the Switch anymore, and it's portable. Hold on.
Game changer.
Japanese people love their portables. Maybe we don't need to worry about PlayStation anymore. Just get them on Xbox and get them on the Series S and take the Game Pass money off them as well. And I'm telling you, man, I reckon a Series S portable would be a game changer for them in Japan specifically.
100. I think it would do incredibly well worldwide. I'd buy.
It would. I'm sure it would do well worldwide.
Japan
I'd buy at least 2 of them.
Yeah.
But Japan specifically, it would be huge for them if they really could get one out in Japan. Absolutely massive for them in a very real way, I think.
I'd love to see it.
Yes, I would too. But yes, it does seem like Square in particular is doing the whole let's get them to bribe us to put this game on their platform, which is quite scummy. But again, we're talking about the company pushing NFTs. So scummy makes sense, doesn't it? Maybe Sony should buy them. Okay. Last question. Jesse brother. Hello there, you fine young cannibals. We're a good group. Remember Fine Young Cannibals?
I do remember Fine Young
She
Cannibals.
drives me crazy. Good. That was good. John, great job on You Had Me at Halo this week. Appreciate all the Forge info you could give. Nick, great job in the chat trying to make that show all about you and Goldeneye. Jesse, fantastic job on Boom's podcast Thursday. Dropping knowledge like only you can. I was asleep, I think. What time was it?
Boom a lot.
What time?
Yeah, it was in the middle of it. It was 12 o'clock my time, so that's like 1 or 2 a.m. yours.
Oh my God, yes, I would have been asleep. But I'm sure Jesse was okay on it. Now, did you guys catch any of the Modern Warfare 2 stuff this week? The Warzone 2 and regular multiplayer stuff looks fun. Though I gotta say, I'm so hyped for the campaign. Modern Warfare 2019's campaign was freaking awesome, and this should be even better. Oh my God. What's that level called? Cleaning House? Was it called Cleaning House?
Yeah, something like that.
Or, oh my God, that night vision level where you're going up. Oh,
sometimes at some points it looked completely photorealistic. It was so good.
Oh, it looks 100% real. And it just, I love first-person shooter levels like that. That are just all cool. Stealth, and you can go slowly, and you can do the whole thing without being seen and being alert. I love stuff like that. That's part of the reason I love GoldenEye so much. Because you can just stealth your way through the whole thing. It's so good. Though the mode I'm most looking forward to, honestly, is DMZ. What the hell is DMZ? That is their Escape from Tarkov ripoff. I have always wanted to play a good AAA console version of that game. Battlefield 2042 tried something like it last year, which wasn't great. Here's hoping Infinity Ward can nail it. Lastly, let's hear it for Brit, the forum's newest moderator. I told this guy he should be a mod years ago with how he always would tell people they were discussing things in the wrong threads. But seriously, he should be perfect for it.
Yeah, he's been a great addition to the team. Very glad we asked him, and we're very glad he accepted. So, yeah, the forums have been a relatively peaceful place as well of late. Like, I was really particularly pleased that when the Bonnie Ross news dropped, there was not a single hot take in the entire forum thread, and that takes some doing on the internet, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you. So massive kudos to the moderators and all the guys that do a lot of the back end stuff that maybe isn't as applauded as this front camera facing shenanigans that we get up to. But yeah, no, I haven't seen a lot on. It's hilarious that Call of Duty.
I haven't because I know I'm buying it. I know I'm buying it. So it's like
Modern Warfare's 2019 campaign was so a breath. You know, like I haven't played a COD in a long time, and I really enjoyed playing through it. But I kind of just don't want to see anything. I'll just go in blind.
Yeah, I'll just play it
and just enjoy the campaign.
I know I'm gonna love it. There's a
part of me that doesn't want to. I'm not gonna mess about with my player. I don't care. I'm not gonna play it. I'll just play through the campaign. There's a part of me that's hoping I know someone that buys a disc because I don't really want to blow.
Well, I'm trying really hard to get us review copies, and then maybe I could just hand them out. But I have anyone out there knows anything about how to talk with Activision, they ignore all of my emails to them. So
meanies, but yeah, but yeah, that's the end of the community questions. So there's a couple of things I wanted to quickly mention before we bail for the day.
There is a super chat.
Go on, hit the super chat. What we got?
Vart with $5 super chat. With Square not taking risk and welcoming outside funding, Xbox should pay Square to lock down a Chrono Trigger game. I don't see Square. That would have to be a big money hat.
Do you know what? I think Xbox are quietly confident in the strategy that they've got and the methodology and Game Pass and the value it delivers and the way that it is turning so many heads in gaming in general. That I actually think the days of Microsoft really paying for, you know, very long term or funding games is probably a little bit done. You'll see them funding or paying fees to get them onto Game Pass to deliver that value for us as a subscriber. But I think unless it's in the acquisition space or unless it's like a really, really larger developer, like a Kojima kind of situation, I think we're going to see less and less than that from them. Because at some point when that cadence hits and we're going to get those games on a regular kind of whip, I don't know. I don't have a lot of belief in that really generates as much value as people think it does. Like Game Pass is the value now. Game Pass is where I want to see the money spent. I don't care if they want to go fund an obscure game or whatever. I want it in Game Pass.
So my thing is, I'm going to buy, like speaking of Game Pass, I want to buy Modern Warfare. I don't want to wait another 6 months or whatever for it to come to Game Pass. I want to buy it. Before they ruin it, like they ruined Modern Warfare 2019, and now that launcher is just this stupid Frankenstein's monster of... Oh my God, I hate what they've done to Modern Warfare 2019 so much.
I've got a bad news for you about Modern Warfare 2's launcher. Showed it. It's everything again. It's all in one.
Why?
Because Warzone's the big thing and they build off of it.
But why not just have Warzone have its own launcher?
Because Warzone is the launcher and everything comes off of Warzone. And they share assets, and so it makes sense to make the games a DLC for Warzone instead of their own client.
That's the dumbest thing ever.
It works fine if they actually figured out how to not have games be so large. Like Halo Infinite, you have the multiplayer is the base, and then the campaign is actually a DLC download on top of it. Any future campaigns should be DLC, and you can just drop them as you need to for space. But they messed up horribly, and it just doesn't work at all for the first Warzone. So hopefully this one works better.
Yeah. The only package I can think of off the top of my head where all this stuff works is Master Chief Collection, which is an ironic thing to say given how completely and utterly busted that was when it launched. But now it's great. You know, and they just dropped ODST in there and it was fine, and they dropped Reach in there and it was fine. They need to get Halo 5 in there.
Don't think there's any interest, mate.
Why?
Honestly, I've gone back and played a bunch of Halo 5 since Infinite's dropped out. It's night and day.
No. I'm saying they need to get Halo 5 into Master Chief Collection.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Why?
Right, because doing that, they'd have to then develop and code and run quality passes on a PC version because MCC and the Xbox MCCs are linked, and you know they'd have to. It's just not. It ain't happening.
They already said the UE4 UI was pretty much already at its limit for what they could stick into it with how much that game has.
Yeah. So I did want to do some I do want to do some housekeeping before we wrap up because it is coming up to 1:30 a.m. for me. One quick friendly reminder: there is a Wolong demo out on the Xbox Store, which was announced earlier this year, coming from Team Ninja. Feel free to go give it a download and give it a try. We're gonna get an impressions video up, I think, soon-ish on that demo, but you can go and try it right this second if you so wish. A quick side note: not that I want to give our competitors any money, but they are such lovely chaps that it would be wrong of us not to mention it. But big congrats to the Xbox 2, the wonderful Jez and Rand, on launching their Patreon. You know these guys; they are some of the best in the biz, and both very, very nice guys and very well connected. So you know, if you want to go support them to enable, enable them to do more for you guys. They're offering a bunch of perks as part of their Patreon. Go check it out. I presume it's going to be patreon.com/XB2. And then lastly, I'm going to turn to Jesse, who is going to give us a pretty brief rundown on all of the wonderful things that are probably coming to XboxEra.com this week. Jesse.
Why, hello. This week we had a whole bunch of shit on the site. Metal Hellsinger, Mirror's Edge, You Suck at Parking, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which oddly enough, we had a review for the moment it was announced. Blind Fate, Edo no Yami. That was all just this week. Next week we'll have Solstice, Hard Space Shipbreaker impressions for Series X. Following week is Despot's Game, Dystopian Army Builder, and we'll have a Deathloop one. We've got 3 or 4 other reviews all coming. So yeah, there's a lot coming on the website. It's gonna be fun.
As always, basically, we're fantastic. But big kudos to Jesse, who's doing definitely a lion's share there as well. But I know a lot of the team are working hard. I think I know Harmy's working on another review, and I can't remember the name of the game.
Bastoon. It came out a few months ago. It's a good game.
Yeah, and Genghis has got a couple coming as well. There's basically we're always busy because we love you guys so much. I think that's about it. That's the end of the show. Much love to everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't. And we'll be back next week, as always. We'll catch you soon.
Yep. Ciao for now.